Order, order. Are we ready to go? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please have the roll.
Director Quady?
Here.
Director McMillan? Director Pacala?
Yes.
Director Robert?
Yes.
Director Avila?
Here. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, public.
We do online.
We do have public online. Item 2 is public comments. This portion of the agenda may be utilized by any member of the public to address the board of directors on any matter within the jurisdiction of the board that does not appear on the agenda, and on matters that are on the agenda but are not designated as action items. Depending on the subject matter, the board of directors may be unable to respond at this time or until a specific topic is placed on the agenda at a future Calleguas board meeting. In accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act, please limit remarks to 3 minutes. If public would like to make a comment, please raise your hand on Zoom and we will call you. Yeah, I see no raised hands. Do we have items to be added to the agenda?
No item.
No items. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Yes. Okay, any recommended changes, deletions out of order?
No, on the review of agenda, I just want to mention, I do have questions on consent agenda item 7C and 7D. I'm proposing that we pull item 7D for discussion.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Director Pacala.
And also I have comments on item 11, board member comments.
Copy. Thank you. Okay, and with that, I am closing the open session and opening the closed session. All right, thank you everyone for that. With that, I am closing the closed session, opening the open session, and we received an update on security camera.
No action was taken.
No action was taken. Okay. And with that, we are now at the consent calendar. Anyone have questions on the consent calendar?
Yes. I have a question on 7C.
Okay.
This, excuse me, this is a quarterly change orders for the capital project.
That is correct, yes.
So it's good to see a major project is done as far as the interconnection between Las Virgenes. There are 2 change orders under Lakeshore Pump Station change order 1-5 for a total of 9,127. Change order 4-1 for 99,129. Both address conflicts between Southern California Edison conduits and the Calleguas plants. Correct? In the past, I asked whether Calleguas could seek reimbursement from Southern California Edison Company and to maybe get some of the costs associated with these orders. Any status on that?
Yes, great question. Thank you for the question, Director Bacala. So in the discussions with districts, there is a pathway to attempt to seek reimbursement. And what we're doing is we are working with one of our interns to go back as far as we have records of our change orders and identifying those agencies that are the most recurring troublemakers.
Okay.
And then identify if it's worth going after those agencies or utility owners. What is the typical average cost to us too? Because there is some cost in seeking those reimbursements. So we are working on that list. We're should be getting my first draft of that report by the end of next week. And I will be following up with you once we have a report to report back.
Well, glad to hear that you are working on it. And we are looking at ways, if we could legally, get some money back.
Yes.
Another project, Network Center Relocation Project. There are 6 no-cost change orders with contract time extensions. It's all negative change orders there, good news. However, they do not specify the number of working days in your change order. It doesn't say how many you gave. In any case, I'm not asking any questions. I would like to discuss this matter at the Engineering Services Committee meeting when we have a
Absolutely.
few questions for that.
Okay.
So,
Would be okay to just include those days in that box as well for your information?
well, we'll talk at engineering. I have some other questions, but
Okay, will do.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on 7C? Okay, 7D.
70, I'm fine. I withdraw my request to pull.
Looking for a motion.
What was 7D pulled, or was it still including consent calendar?
It's included.
It's included, yeah. Yeah, I make a motion.
Have a motion for first. Second. And a second. Roll call, please.
Director Quady.
Aye.
Director McMillan. Yes. Director Pacala.
Yes.
Director Robert.
Yes.
Director Avila.
Aye, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, up next, I have reports. First up is the monthly status report, and we're gonna kick it off with staff 5. I have 13, 33, 48, 64, and 92. Does the board have any that they would like to add to the list?
Yeah, I have just simple questions on item 1 and item 48. Some questions for
148, Director Quady.
item 1.
I have number 3, number 19, 31, 37, and 43, the same question. 55, 65, and 87.
So was that last one 87?
Yeah.
Okay.
565, 87. Okay, Director McMillan and Director Robert.
Did you cover 16 and 32? I think I heard that.
No.
Those are new. All right,
Just double check.
all right. All right, and with that,
And you don't have
I think we have the whole monthly status. report. So
Why?
let's start at number 1 and go one by one through the whole thing. All right, number 13.
Let's start by appreciating the really awesome cover photo. And then we will move on to item 13, which Jen Vasquez, our principal water resources specialist, will handle.
Hello, good evening, board. I'm happy to present item number 13, which is the Purveyor Managers Meeting Highlight. I titled this slide, "The Future of Water is Bright." For those that attended, you'll understand why. We had a great panel of interns and early professionals that actually gave great perspective of some of the career journeys that they've gone through, and had great insights, I would say, to how we can improve our communication efforts and really provide additional opportunities for early professionals. It also highlighted really the importance of key partnerships. As you see on the screen, we had Ventura College, Aqua Foundation, Eastern Municipal Water District, water districts, and other educational and institutional partners are key in getting our workforce development efforts off the ground. And that's really what we've seen so far from our planning and our implementation. The other thing that I wanted to call out was that we heard from our managers that they want to continue to see regional efforts. Some of them left very impressed with the panel and really left with us the comment that they would like to see Calleguas kind of step up on some of the regional efforts and help in that way. So we were happy to hear that collaboration is there's more to come, and that we are continuing this work. So those that did see the intern panel, that's the picture that's highlighted on the slide there. And honestly, yeah, it was very refreshing to hear the perspectives of the 5 participants. We had, of course, 2 from our Calleguas staff, 2 of our current interns that are finishing out their internship cohort year. And then we also had a staff member from Camarosa Water District and 2 staff members from Camarillo. So they are the ones pictured there, and they provided amazing insights, like I said. So that's the highlight.
I just want to say they did a great job as a panel.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good panel. For once, I was able to make the purveyor meeting and it was a good one. I was happy to be there. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Item 33.
Yes. Lancasters, wanna cover this one?
All right, good evening. We held 2 public workshops for the draft EIR for the Smith Road Tank Project. The draft EIR was published on June 24th, and it's currently in the public review period, which will end on August 11th next week. And draft EIR public workshops are not required by CEQA, but we elected to do them because we want to give the public as many different kinds of opportunities as possible to learn about the project, as well as to provide input to us on the draft EIR. We had 1 meeting that was in person in Simi Valley, and then we had a virtual meeting as well. And same content was presented at both. And we didn't receive any formal comments at either of them. The attendance was pretty low, but it was still, I think, a good opportunity for those who did attend, because I know we did have one gentleman who lives near the project site, and he asked a lot of really great questions, and we helped him to understand the project more. So I think that was really valuable. And yeah, so you'll be hearing a lot more about this EIR soon after we close the draft EIR public review period and prepare the final EIR, which will, of course, include responses to all the comments that we receive on the draft EIR. And we are getting close to the end of the public review period. And I will say we have received 1 comment letter so far, and it came in today, and it was from the city.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know I called into the Zoom meeting, but I was there not as a participant, just watching. But any members of the public join on that one?
There were 2, and they were both from the city.
Okay.
Yeah. Or actually, no, 1 was from the city and 1 was a member of the public. That's right.
Thank you. Any comments?
Just a comment, that outreach history serves Calleguas well. Thank you. Absolutely.
Were there any controversial comments? Have you heard about landscape? When we did reservoirs like this, some people came out and said, it looks ugly and we need a landscape around it.
Yes.
I used to tell them, this is a landscape of Southern California. That's what you see everywhere you go. We need water.
Right. And that is probably the single biggest issue in the EIR is the visual and aesthetics issues. And so, yeah, this rendering here is a before and after of the site. So we tried to go with the kinds of landscaping we anticipate putting in there, which, as you say, is appropriate to the landscape out there. And then the color on that tank as depicted is a color that the city actually uses. And so we wanted to go ahead and be consistent with them. Although we're still talking with them about what the final finish will be.
Okay.
We got a visitor from Connecticut that said every time she comes out here, she's thirsty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Up next, we have 48.
Yeah, which is a perfect transition into more talk about steel tank coating. In this case, existing tanks, which Caesar, Senior Project Manager, is going to handle.
So good evening or afternoon, Board of Directors and staff. So this one has a pretty snappy title, Testing the Metal Dual Tank Fitness Check. Full disclosure, I can't take the credit for that. That's the Manager of Engineering, Fernando Baez. Thank you, Fernando. Well, what to say? Thank you. So dual tank fitness check, it has nothing to do with the high intensity interval training at the tank site. We're not deadlifting tanks or bench pressing tanks or anything like that, or going up and down the stairs with little mini tanks on our back. No, we're talking about a tank condition assessment of 2 above ground welded steel reservoirs, specifically the Newbury Park tank and the Lake Sherwood tank. And the pictures on the right are from the Newbury Park tank site. A little bit about the tanks. Both of them were last recoated or had coating rehabilitation in 2013. So it's been quite some time now. We're going on a little over 13 years since the last batch of coating rehab and so forth. And as you can see on the pictures of the Newbury Park tank, there are some issues where coating is not performing up to par or is not present in some areas around the knuckle on that tank. So a tank condition assessment is necessary to determine existing conditions. Obviously, we can see that there's some issues, but we need a better picture of what's going on under the coatings, in the steel and so forth, and inside the tank for that matter, and to determine the need for future tank repairs, including coating rehabilitation. The tank coating condition assessment will involve inspection and some testing with some handheld devices. It includes 2 parts. There's the part that's done inside the tank and the part that's done on the outside. Now, inside the tank, below water, we're actually deploying, Matt's group is deploying Calleguas' new submersible ROV, remote operating vehicle, putting that to good use. And in fact, Newbury Park tank was done last week, correct? Correct. So we have the video inspection that we're going to provide to the consultant. Above water, the consultant will deploy with their trained staff in a raft through the access hatch. So they'll be getting in there, looking at the water level will be approximately near high water level. So they'll be looking at all the visible rafters, the interior of the air vent, taking pictures, standardizing conditions with a standardized system. In terms of, they will also be doing metal thickness testing under the substrate underneath the coatings using a ultrasound testing device. And they will also be checking the coating thickness using another handheld device, magnetic induction device. So that'll give us a better picture of what's going on inside the tank. On the exterior of the tank, we will not deploy the submersible because we would have big problems if we had to, but we will deploy a drone. The consultant has a drone that will fly the exterior of both tanks to get us good pictures. We'll do the same standardized rating of the conditions, metal thickness testing using the handheld devices, and coating thickness testing. And the one difference on the outside, we will have very limited adhesion testing, which is essentially a destructive testing method where you pull a little piece of coating to see what kind of force is needed for that. So this whole tank condition assessment will give us a pretty good picture of what really is going on with these tanks on the interior and exterior to inform the need for future repairs.
Questions?
Yes, I had a couple of questions. How many above ground welded steel tanks does Calleguas have other than these 2?
Grimes.
Total of 5, that includes the S&P control tank.
Right.
How often do we do this type of testing for those tanks?
And that is part of the condition. That is part of the condition assessment that we're undertaking. We do want to standardize a regular period of testing these tanks. Given the condition of the coating systems that are applied today, in discussions with our consultant, I was asking what is the expected lifespan of these coating systems nowadays, because the VOC requirements are very stringent and these systems aren't as robust as they used to be. I got an honest response saying, depending on its location, are you close to the coast or not? Do you have air or dry conditions or not? Anywhere from 10 to 12 years is the life expectancy of these systems now.
That's what I was going to say. We used to do every 10 to 12 years.
Okay. Yep.
So we are in the same area here, so.
Mhm.
Does that, like the AWWA standard, does that change for the year in which you apply the coding?
So there are AWWA standards, but really it depends on the coding system on how often you should be regularly inspecting your tanks. Is it every year? Is it every 2 years, every 5 years? And when should you be ready to do some kind of condition or repair, whether it's a full replacement or a spot replacement of your system. And again, that is all depending on various variables, the coding system as well as its location. Again, something on the coast where you do have that inland moisture coming in, and then the next day it's dry, and then it's wet again, dry again. That affects the coating system.
Although I think we see more damage because of the strong sun. And because actually the control tank, S&P control tank, which is closer to the ocean, its coating is faring better
It
than
is.
some of the inland ones.
Yeah.
So I think it's sun, the sun here just beats down on things.
How's humidity? It is cold, humidity, where ocean, you have more humidity there.
Can also deal with thermal expansion contraction if it's really.
Yeah, just a lot of factors.
Once you let something in that's underneath.
We do coding inspection every quarter. We look for cracks, rust, anything like that, and do touch-ups based on that.
So with the new tool that we have, the rover, we probably will be able to do that maybe as an annual inspection versus before would have to take the tank out of service, be able to enter a confined space and do the visual inspection. And now with that tool, we'll be able to do that more routinely.
I'm not saying you should do a quarter, just saying that would be crazy for the district, right? Comparing what we do we're saying things that are out in the ocean.
When we pull that surface sample, do you replace your divot?
It will be a surface repair that we will be addressing at that moment. Sandpaper and
Spots a scale or something, a force scale, and you'll see where it's.
So the
exception or something.
Yeah, so one of the things we'll be testing is how much is still on it. Yes, the surface of the tank. And the other thing is the thickness of the steel shell. Is there a loss of steel? And if there is, do we make not just a coating repair, but a spot repair of the steel shell as well? So that'll be part of the analysis we'll be conducting. Thank you.
Thanks, Fernando.
On to the next one, item 64, Daniel Cohen, our emergency response coordinator.
Good evening, directors. I'm here to talk about a tabletop exercise that I attended with our manager of HR and risk management, Tricia Ferguson, and our assistant manager of O&M, Matt Gomez. It was centered around a seismic event on the San Andreas Fault and regional impacts to water systems. This was really focused on the Thousand Oaks water distribution system. The photo that you see on the slide is the scenario that they used. It's generated by the USGS. And it's a massive earthquake that would impact the region. City of Thousand Oaks just recertified their emergency response plan. So it covered some of the standardized procedures that they have in there, how they would activate the incident command system, activate their EOC, and how the water department would interface with Calleguas, interface with the city manager's office, and how they would prioritize their personnel and resources in response to an incident. So based off the scenario, they said there could be anywhere north of 160 leaks throughout their system. Looking at that and how potential impacts to our system could also cause cascading effects on their system. It was a really interesting scenario, great discussion. They brought in their entire field staff to go over it, brought in lunch, so people were happy. And it really sparked interesting discussion on how, they put together a few specific scenarios in their system and said, how would you go respond to that? And different guys from different departments started talking about what they would do, how they would troubleshoot the situation, how they could continue to operate and keep water flowing to different parts of their service area. So we were invited as observers. We ended up really being participants and sharing how we would expect a situation like this to impact our system. and then how we would coordinate a response effectively through the county.
Good work. Is there questions for Dan?
Great work.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good work, Dan.
And last but not least, Wes, our manager of IT, is gonna wrap us up with item 92.
All right, so item 92, navigating the AI wave, roundtable recap. So we were fortunate enough to get a call out from our managed service provider, All Connected, who's trying to get a handle, just like everybody else is, on what is everybody doing with AI? What are all of our agencies doing? Now, you guys have asked this numerous times, and I've kind of given you a little bit here and there from what I've heard from other agencies. But we were able to work together with them and host a AI roundtable. It was great to see it. We had agencies all throughout our service area. Las Virgenes came in, United came in. So we actually had quite a few representatives, IT managers, chief information officers, all willing to sit in the same room and share where we're at with our journeys. And it was actually enlightening in that aspect. So a lot of people are all in the same area. We're all starting to navigate, working through policies, trying to make sure policies are approved and applied before moving into whatever licensing schemas we're doing or whatever else we're doing. We're also trying to decide, kind of get an understanding on where we're going. The AI industry is moving into a model of monetization because they're going to need to pay for the infrastructure that they're now having to supply for all of the AI needs. So the cost of tokens have already started increasing in some instances. Some of the AI companies are moving to the token ideas. So that if you want to do more power, you have to have more tokens to do it, or you might not need to use as many if you're only doing just simple chat responses or something like that. So trying to understand that aspect was definitely an interesting one, and something that is definitely something that everybody is looking at. The biggest takeaway I could take away from on the discussions is really like where everybody's gonna need to fall into is this idea of governance, the data governance aspect. So who is the author of the data? Who is the keeper of that data to make sure that that data is actually correct, up to date, and not manipulated, not falsely represented going forward. And without having a strong posture, strong policy, that's where everybody is trying to make sure that they're spending their time right now to get all of that put together before jumping further into where it is. One of the good things that I could say that one of the great things that I saw with the meeting is, we talk about regional collaboration efforts with all of our purveyors. And it was great to see as many representatives as we had in the room, and every single one of them willing to talk and willing to share. In IT cybersecurity land, I could say is that sometimes it's not as much talking and is more just listening. So to actually get everybody in the room and talking was actually excellent. And we're looking forward to, potentially being able to host some more of these events and get more collaboration effort in all of the IT realms with our purveyors as well.
Good stuff. Thank you, Wes. Wes? Thank you, Wes. All right, up next, we have number 1, Carla.
Well, very, very simple question, Ian. So far, in the first prioritization, you reduced what, six desalters to 4?
Well, depends on how you count.
Okay.
So we looked at end uses and sources of water. And if you looked at all those permutations, there was over 170 potential types of source water end use desalter combinations. The portion that we're in right now is an attempt at the end of the September 23rd workshop to have 3 to 5 that we will do a detailed analysis on over the course of the following 4 to 5 months. That includes hydrogeologic assessment, general pipeline lengths and costs, initial sizing, some potential land costs, easement costs.
Get the green.
But the first prioritization narrowed it down to 4, did you say?
I would characterize it this way. So we had
You said,
six six potential desalter locations. The first winnowing narrowed that down to 4, and then it expanded out by looking at all of the different potential source waters and uses.
okay, I got it.
And then that was narrowed again
Okay,
through a process they called screening and cleaning.
okay. Where I was confused was you were saying you will come up with a 3 to 5. I thought we did 4, we're going to come up 3 to 5. That's where I'm.
Yeah, we're currently at 11.
So you have 11 currently, okay.
Yes, but they're variations.
Okay, 4 locations,
Actually, we're at 12.
each one has several potential permutations.
Yeah, 4 locations, different permutations.
Yes.
Right, correct?
Yeah, and we're actually, I think we said we're at 11 here, but we've added one since then, so we're actually up to 12.
12. So just to make clear, it clearly says Moore Park, Simi Valley. The other ones you're using long names. One is Camarosa, the other one is City of Camarillo, location wise.
Location wise, one is in the Santa Rosa Valley within Camarosa service area, adjacent to where their current GAC facility is. The other would be an expansion of North Pleasant Valley desalter. Their desalter, not necessarily Camarillo doing it. And the source water would have to come from elsewhere most likely.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Part of the reason that we've avoided calling it the Camarosa desalter is because we are not talking about ownership and operation during this. We want to focus on where the best place based on the resource and the location and the potential end uses would be. And then we'll figure out who's going to build it, own, operate as a separate discussion, because that, as you know, your plan has a tendency to impact whether people think a particular desalter location is feasible or not. Right. And that's part of the problem with the desalter in Simi years ago, that we're not doing this. And so that idea went away. So the idea here is to be as objective as possible and as ownership agnostic as possible.
But at the end, there are 4 locations. That's what I'm talking about. Only 4 locations you're looking at. You know who they belong to.
Right.
Correct. 4 locations.
Correct.
Different iterations you're looking at, which is the best minimal cost for effort.
All we know is they're in California.
They're all in Ventura County. They're all in our service area.
Okay, all right. Very good. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
Outside our sphere of influence.
No, not good.
I got nervous chuckles from that side of the room. All right, up next, we got 48.
I had heard 3.
Oh yeah, I was going off the list as I wrote it. Yeah, we have 3.
Number 3 is just a quick question.
And Henry's not here tonight, so we'll do our best with it.
Very simple one. I'm sure you all know the answer. I should probably know this myself, but is there water rights associated with the islands?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
Oh,
We'll find that out for you.
oh.
I guess it depends on if they're terrestrial or aquatic.
Well, anyway, I'm interested in seeing that.
We will have to get back to you on that one, because I do not know.
Interesting to see what MWD staff comes with.
Yeah. All right, then next up on the list is number 16.
Actually, it had a 15, 16, and 17, but I'll be quick about them. 15, the turnkey turf transformation, Port Winnemie's the last one going on. I see it from my balcony every day. It looks great.
Oh, great.
Thanks for helping facilitate the change in landscape out there. So that's very cool. That's all I had for that. Yeah. For 16, the Firewise Living, I think it's a great program. You know, we talk a lot about water, but to help facilitate that, I was interested to see that was the Master Gardeners, but I'm not surprised. Looks like there was a decent attendance there, 25 people.
Director Quaid, you also had a question number 16? One that you had called out.
19.
17.
Yeah, it looks like we're still getting a lot of attendees for the drip irrigation on that 34. Very cool.
Yes, actually, we did run an Acorn ad. We do those like quarterly because they're surprisingly costly. But every time we run them, we get a big influx of people. So they are definitely valuable. It's reminding people who maybe knew about them and then forgot, or, reaching new people. So that I would attribute specifically to our Acorn ad.
No, that's all great. And honestly, the UC Master Gardeners, I mean, we've partnered with them for a lot of stuff, and I can't say how appreciative we are. I guess I can. We're appreciative. That's all. No, I just thought those were great.
All right, number 19.
Yeah, I just had a question at the end of the paragraph. It's talking about how an additional 161 rebates been paid since July 1st, 2026, totaling 41.9 in metropolitan funding and 498 in Calleguas. So I told that we divide by 161, and it's $29 each. That's the, is it?
Is that for the devices? Sorry, I don't have it right in front of me.
I'm just following the last sentence in the paragraph. So
It's turf replacement, or no, it's the devices. We give $25 supplement per device, but with the exception that between our supplement and Met's, it cannot exceed the purchase price. So in some cases, our supplement's less than $25 if they bought one that was less expensive than the rebate supplements combined.
yeah, but I'm just taking the total of what was spent for 161 rebates.
Yeah. So that would be the average. Yeah.
Device rebates.
Device rebates.
Yeah, maybe we just make sure we add, device isn't specified in that sentence. Maybe we just need to add that moving forward.
Okay. Yeah.
Clarity.
You caught me, that's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Devices are the only thing we supplement at this point.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Next one, 31.
Fernando, the next batch are yours.
I was gonna ask about 31, it's been in study for a while.
Manual pump station, it has, and you ask O&M, they would tell you it's been more than 10 years. It's a project that is very complicated and complex, and one that we are slowly working on as our team is available to work on. We prioritize and rank, as you know, all our projects. This one is important, but we have all other projects that have been ranked higher and we are pushing out. This one is just because it's so complex, we're slowly working through it. This is going to require us to essentially shut down the treatment plant to do these improvements. And we're working around how to do that while we'll still deliver water to our customers. So it is very complicated and complex, and we're brainstorming on various ideas how to do that.
And to kind of rehash it, this was actually intended to evaluate alternatives for the most cost-effective alternative.
Yes, one of the things we noted here is that we're still implementing value engineering. One of the recommendations was to do away with rehabbing the hydro generator. And that was a big change from the 5-6 years that we had been studying the preliminary design. We were going to rehab that hydro generator and discovered the investment is not worth the revenue. The return on investment would be many decades, because now our generation is really being produced by GPS2. We're not running this hydro as much as we're running the hydro down at GPS2. So we've also changed that design aspect on the project.
There's some changes.
There are some significant changes, yes.
Thank you.
I like how it says, continue study of design impacts related to the implementation of value engineering design alternatives. Or in short, looking for the best deal.
Yes.
Maximizing value.
All right, next one, we've got 32. S&P Phase 3 purchase. Oh, I think that's the one I brought up by mistake. So we skip through that one.
All right.
37.
Okay, so I had 3743, basically the same question. So Ardura, was that acquired by MKN or replaced, and BKF formerly MS, that's the same thing?
Both of them were acquisitions.
Okay,
Right positions, yes.
thank you.
Does that cover 43?
Yes.
Yes.
Next is 48.
Oh, we done it. We already.
55.
55. I just had a question about the metric survey. Is this able to distinguish between sediment deposition depth and the original base depth?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Cool.
It's actually,
We've got
it's actually real time while you're out there driving the lake. Pretty cool.
and is that reflects a loss, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. Up next, I have 65.
Okay, sure what this is the trespasser response procedure. And 65. Oh, 65 with my class.
That was trespasser response procedure.
So it's standardized and consistent procedures. Sorry, well, I guess I don't remember the question. I just had it start. So I think it's just great that you remembered to do that.
All right, now that we've gone through the entire monthly status report, number 87.
Okay, 87, it was just the last sentence was really great. It was a day-long management focused meeting covering strategic planning, data governance, and AI innovation efforts. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Wes. All right, that covers the monthly status report. Up next, I have the 2026 strategic plan update workshop. Charlotte Caulfield.
We had a
Vasquez.
little bit of a change in cast here. So we're gonna have Jennifer Lancaster and Jed Vasquez.
Okay.
Okay, so we are at session 2 now of our strategic plan update efforts. And you had some homework, I know. We don't usually ask you for homework, but we did this time. So we had asked you to think about the types of change drivers that you think have been the most influential during your time on the board. And remember, we kind of broke these into these 4 categories of advancements in science and technology, conflict or competition, new ideas or values, and chance. So first, I'm going to just go through a few that we've identified kind of over the course of Calleguas' history for each of these different categories. And then Jen is going to come and guide you through an exercise to really focus in on the ones that you've experienced and that you think have been most influential to Calleguas in however long you've been on the board. So if we want to talk about conflict or competition, I mean, that's why we exist, right? So we were fighting over water all the way back in, the 40s, the 50s. What was happening here at this time was, of course, we had a lot of development that was outpacing the water supplies. And even for the existing agriculture and the existing developments at that time, there was a bad drought, the groundwater levels were getting low, there was saltwater intrusion. And so the residents knew we need to find another way to bring more water into southern Ventura County. And so Calleguas was formed for that reason in 1953, and then immediately started looking at the CESP as an opportunity because Calleguas saw that United had rights to some of the water that went through the Santa Clara River, but there was a lot that went past United and out to sea. So Calleguas' first idea was we're going to capture that water and bring it out into our service area as our supplemental water supply. And so they went to State Water Resources Control Board for water rights, and they had a proposal to build 2 dams actually on the CESP. And then at the same time, United was developing project that would put 3 dams on the Sespe. And so conflicting projects over this one resource. And so originally it was actually the rights were awarded to Calleguas. And Calleguas was going to have 3 reservoirs going up the Sespe. And United immediately appealed. It went into the courts. There was a lot of back and forth that went on legally. And it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that if this were to happen, it was going to take a really long time and a lot of resources just to get through the legal processes, much less even the planning and development. So at that time, Calleguas started looking at joining Met and having Met be our source of imported water, which, as you know, we ended up doing, and it has worked well for us. Ultimately, by the end of it, United got the rights to build their 3 reservoirs on the Sespe and then was unable to do it. And so the project just died and no one ever dammed the Sespe. And now it's got all kinds of protections and it's one of the last remaining waterways in Southern California that have no dams on it. So interesting little history there. If we're thinking about changing ideas and values, water use efficiency started to become really prominent after 2000. You know, we had already experienced a few bad droughts and people started to recognize how much water was being used on their lawns. And so Met's rebate program started right around 2014, which of course that was during a drought period as well. And so we've seen a huge shift of people adopting this new idea of what landscapes could and should look like in Southern California. So here is just a couple of examples. The City of Simi Valley City Hall, where the sign is there. This is actually one of the recipients of our turnkey turf transformation program, which we will come back and give you a whole recap of how all of that went once it's all wrapped up. But you can see beautiful landscape there at City Hall versus the grass that had been there before. And then another residence yard that went from grass to California-friendly landscaping. Now this one's fun, advancements in science or technology. This is what used to get produced at each turnout. And to me, they're beautiful. I think they look like art, but I'm sure to the person who had to go out there on a weekly.
No, it's just fire hours. That's what I said.
For the person who had to go out and collect these every week and then almost 100 of them and then translate these graphs off the paper and get all that data. That was really labor intensive and it's how we did it for a really, really long time. But in right around Christine can tell me, she was the project manager.
I can tell you if I look it up. I remember better. In the early 2010s, I want to say 2012 to 2014-ish.
Yeah, 2012, 2014. There became technology available to automate those turnouts. And so Calleguas undertook a very big project to transfer all of this and make it into the radio controlled, which is controlled by cellular for us now. So that really took a huge burden off of staff because now it's done electronically and you get that data. You don't have to go out and get these pretty spiral graphs. And then lastly, chance. Over the last 20 years or so, we've been seeing more and more fires happening, and not only more fires, but also more big, huge, really detrimental fires, not just in our service area, but in California in general. And so as those were happening, the district realized that we really need a dedicated position on our staff whose only job is to prepare for emergencies. And so that in 2019, we hired our wonderful Daniel to be our emergency response coordinator. And since then, it has really elevated Calleguas in terms of being a regional player in this emergency response field. And I know Daniel has done an excellent job and continues to, and you even heard the tabletop exercises that he talked about. So this has been an enormously valuable addition to our staff, and it's only going to continue to be valuable as we move into the future, because these chancy type events, you just never know when they're going to happen, but you know they're going to happen. So to be prepared is really a great thing. So those are just some of the examples of the different kinds of change drivers that have created really big changes in how we do things here at Calleguas, and actually even why we exist. So now I'm going to give it over to Jen Vasquez, and she is going to lead you through the activity so you can talk about the drivers of change that you came up with as well.
Great, thank you. We realize it's later in the day, so we wanted to integrate an activity that gets you up and moving and gets the ideas that you hopefully completed through your assignment on paper and Post-it. So in a few minutes, I'll be passing around Post-its for everyone, but I wanted to explain kind of what the process is, and then you'll see me kind of set up the activity. So really, with the assignment that was given, we would like you to review that assignment that was done and select your top 4 drivers. It can be across any of the sections that was included within that handout. And in a moment, you'll get a set of Post-it notes to actually write down those ideas. So the first thing that I would ask is, we'll take about 5 minutes to review your homework assignment and mark the ones that you consider top 4. That might be a challenge within itself. It can be across the board, and it can be within any of the sections. And then we'll ask you to write each of the drivers on an individual Post-it note. And while the 5 minutes are going, I'll go ahead and place the posters up on the board. And you can then take time to actually put them in each individual poster that it's best fitting. So hopefully that makes sense. Essentially reviewing your homework assignment, choosing 4, which I think is probably the most, just even selecting the 4 drivers, and then posting them on the posters that I'll put up in a few minutes. So we'll take about 5 minutes to do that. And then
Everybody seems to have a question.
Yeah. For each category, the wrong assignment.
no, that's actually excelling the assignment. So I think, yeah, choosing 4 is going to be the challenge. So yeah.
You want to collect all of yours?
Yes, yeah.
However you did it, whether you did it on paper, you did it on a separate Word document, we can mind meld later.
Hence, also, if we need it.
Yeah, but the idea is here to choose, you gotta choose 4 just for this assignment or this activity that we're doing.
Yeah, we're really trying.
Choose your top 4 or just choose randomly, whichever it is.
They don't all have to be in the same change driver category.
Right.
Or
It can be.
in one.
They can be, yeah.
category. So.
It could be across the board. So I'll go around, I'll pass out the Post-its, and while you brainstorm, you'll see us putting up the posters around the room to then take the Post-its too. And I'll ask for your help. You're all ready there.
Great.
You want one big one.
And it could be across the board, so if you want to choose just your top choices, top 4.
Oh, you got something for the pink.
Sure, why not? My homework anyway.
I was playing with pants.
Stressed, also I know it's been a long day, so as you're choosing your 4.
Examples. These are the categories. Change drivers. 4 total, not 4 each. 4 total. All 4 can be in one category. You can have 1 in each.
Yeah. Maybe it's. You can put them all in the one that's closest to you, do you? I'm just. That's a resolution of competition equals for. It's really, a lot of the change that I've seen is hard work by staff. So if technology advances, then there's no one here to, it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, I mean, I've been buying. Good baby stuff, like man. Not even that. No, that makes sense. That's what it is. Like crazy. It's like a dumb job, so you know, it's like supposed to be super athletic too. It's like super athletic. I just drew pictures of cats.
Oh, right.
So he's like, yeah, dumb job.
Where's the conflict though?
Sorry, that's my writing. I tried.
Very legible, very legible.
What happens when Trisha's out on vacation?
I know.
Calligraphers. Spreader. Yeah.
Clearly. Distributed throughout the four categories, interesting.
Go back. You read the post-it note.
Wrote with blue on blue with fifth grade handwriting.
Somebody did robots.
My dad's a physician. I'm very good at deciphering it.
I once was asked by a doctor if I was also a doctor. Because like you got.
Pretty even spread so far.
Thanks.
Oh my God, I'm pinked out.
Did you write more?
That would go.
Feel very strong. Yeah.
Oh my God, AI and computer hardware software.
So we need a couple more minutes.
You got the post-its up. Wait for.
Oh, Director, we still with that.
Transcript.
Oh, what color?
It's quite screen.
Oh, he hasn't put it up yet.
Dog ate his homework too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so chance, new ideas or values, advancements in science, technology, conflict or competition. You don't have to have one for each category, whatever you want.
Did you?
Yeah, we're also collecting the actual handout that the homework assignment. So even if you want to put a star next to it, that also works. But yeah, we can.
So I'm gonna call for a 5-minute break and then we'll come back.
As you're coming in and out, when you take a look around and just see what other folks put and where they put them, because we're gonna ask for a little reflection on that. So break and mosey.
Great, awesome. So thank you for engaging in that first portion of the activity. Let me go ahead and bring the slides back up. I should have done that. So really just wanted to have an opportunity to really have a reflection point of like how difficult it was, just even seeing your reactions when I first said top 4 and seeing how much information you had to share. Just giving a moment to any feedback or any challenges in choosing the 4 or completing the homework assignment that you'd like to share at this moment. And in a second, we will be having a second portion of our activity. So yeah, we're able to kind of just hear some of your initial reactions to this assignment. Happy to go around and anything you'd like to share. If not, we can move directly into the next step of our activity.
Yes, I'll just say a couple things. At the last go around, a lot of the things that really came into play when we formed the strategic plan were the drought, right? We were in the middle of a pretty big drought and we wanted two things. One, we wanted local supply because of the drought. And the other thing was the board really wanted some sort of separation from Metropolitan Water District. We wanted local control, local supply. I remember some numbers going around back then, which were, 20, 25% separation from Metropolitan Water District. And I think a lot of those things that we did back then really have played, have been key to the direction the district's taken, the growth experienced and the changes that everyone has seen. And obviously all the new faces in the room have obviously been because of a lot of those changes.
Great. Anybody else? What stood out while you were filling out the document? Any thoughts that you'd like to share us? Kind of, yeah.
It was a good exercise to stop and reflect. It's easy to go meeting by meeting and take things for granted kind of, but when you stop and reflect, you go, oh, look at the deltas, look at the difference. Look at what we've done, look at what you all have done, really. It was a good reflection exercise.
Well, I was not here for the first strategic meeting. When I looked through these ones, I was trying to figure out exactly what it meant first. So it took me a while to figure out what's going on here. As far as these 4 items here, it clearly tells what are the advancements in society, technology. I mean, for example, I picked AI for that one. I'm sure most of you may have picked AI. And if you really understand what it is, it's not that difficult.
Although I agree with you on the complexity of it. I did assume certain things, like assume somebody was going to say AI, so I'm not going to say that. And I also, there's some fundamental things that are out there, like the detections of detection limits. Those are always going to change with chemistry and engineering. So I'm not going to say that, but so it was kind of tough to nail down, because I do have over 4 in each one of these, and I see the longer, and I had the advantage too of being on vacation, and I actually would think about it a little bit, write a few things down and walk away and come back. And I think I've told Henry that before. I'm never a first draft person. I always walk away and think about it and come back again. So I had a lot of things, and I guess I guess we'll get into descriptions later, but one of the ones that I knocked out that was really one of my favorites, but there's a lot more to learn there, but I added the delta and the bioacoustic netting that they do as the barriers. And I think those kind of technologies might grow and maybe even be a mitigating thing for something like the delta. So there are technologies out there that I'm kind of optimistic about. And it's funny, with all the different cross categories that we had, you can see that I'm both optimistic and pessimistic. Awesome. Things that I thought would go wrong, and since I'm reading a book on Norway and the Scandinavian areas, one of the things that I think about in terms of climate change is that those guys up there in the 6th century, they experienced incredible volcanoes, and it was dark, and so people eventually walked away from their farms. So they, no more farming in certain areas that were fine to farm until they got the dark just overcome them for long periods of time, over a 4-year period. But and geologists know that kind of stuff. But anyway, so it was fun exercise, but at the same time, it's a little frustrating that I couldn't put them all down.
They're all on the paper. So, and also these added comments are great insight into how you're thinking about completing it. And I think as I'll probably be rewatching this board meeting to hear everything that was said. So as we're reviewing the content, we have the background of what you're telling us, and even the part of you completing it during vacation. That's and like as you're going and working through those big ideas, coming right back to it and adding on to it, I think is really important. So all of those are helpful to know. Anything else before I move on, just to make sure I didn't skip any?
And I did recognize that there's a 10-year window that maybe we're talking about here, so since my experience goes back to paper packet days, I didn't put that down as an
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah,
Director
but it's good to share appropriately.
That stuff was picked up.
Great.
All right.
So we'll move into the second part of the activity. This one is actually what I call, we're shopping around for the idea. So you see what everybody else, hopefully you started seeing what everybody else included within their posters. So what I'll ask for this activity is to take a few minutes to visit each poster if you haven't already, or if just take another moment. Select one of the change drivers that will impact Calleguas between now and 2036. So you don't have to choose any of the ones that you wrote, you could, but you can choose any of the ones that are included within. Just choose one of those. And we have set up a future poster here on the side on the door. And so place your selection, your one selection from all of these to that future poster. And to us, again, it helps narrow down what the most important, what stands out. And so just take a few minutes, shop around, review what your peers wrote down, and carry one of the Post-its over to the future. This is kind of what I call like comparing the notes, right? Like almost when you're doing like a birthday card. Read what everybody else wrote and see which one you would like to carry over to the future.
All right, and with that, I think I'll call another 5-minute break for the board to walk around and staff to do some stuff back there. Keep it simple. Looks like someone cheated and picked two.
We change the rules.
Great, yeah, we'll go into a reflection, and so Ian will go ahead and review the ones that were selected. And then if anybody wants to add on or add context or detail, feel free. But yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So we have the top six, one AI. What was interesting when I was walking around earlier, there's three AIs and two of them were on one, and one of the AIs was on chance.
Which is scary and ominous.
Is it gonna be good or bad?
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Where's it gonna go? So we got artificial intelligence, desire for some level of independence from Met, which President Beal was just talking about. Embracing new technologies to empower staff with a picture of a robot. Integrity choices. So the choice, the focus and tools on capitalize on flexibility, rise and desire for some level of local control. We got two of those. And then climate change. And the effect on imported water in Colorado and state water projects. So we've got a little bit of tech, a little bit of infrastructure, a little bit of water resources.
Anything you'd like to add regarding the top choices for this portion of the activity?
I guess I'll kick it off. I think going to this revisit of the strategic plan, there's some things that are gonna be the same, you know, there's gonna be topics that continue that are still important. I think a lot of the previous strategic plan is still relevant. One thing that's not gonna change, because we all remember the drought, is we're gonna have climate whiplash. We're gonna be affected by it, and we're gonna have good years and bad years, and we need to be ready for it. And I think the main focus and a big part of the strategic plan is how do we prepare for those dry years and those wet years, right? How do we capture water when we have it, and how do we have it readily available and stored for when we don't? I think as a water district wholesaler, that really should be one of our probably the main focus, if anything, right? So that's my thoughts.
Perfect. Anybody else? And not forced, just if you want to add any additional detail to your choices. If not, we can move it into the next final closing, but yeah, leaving it open.
I have a few items that are actually assuming AI, so you know, what I wrote is some of those are assuming that AI is gonna play a big role, so I didn't feel I had to say that, but one of the things that, well, I won't go into that. I'll just say I got a bunch of other stuff to say.
You other stuff to say, you said, Director Quady?
Yeah, well, like, you know, if you develop statewide and western regional water management perspectives through water, wastewater, environmental agencies, you have multi-agency teams, shared databases, or data reduction teams, pragmatic and intra-agency deliverables, that's AI kind of stuff. So I didn't say AI in what I wrote, but there's a lot of power pre-modeling to define type stuff that will affect data as well, so. One other thing.
And
Something I didn't see up there that I think we're leaning towards is intra-agency collaboration. This is a problem that affects us all, and we're realizing that no one can do it on their own. And we're increasing collaboration with other agencies to find a common solution.
And that's kind of one of the reasons in the statewide perspectives comments that I have that I think we as a whole organization, we're going to be looking at the whole state together. And it's
interconnected.
I know that general managers and all the people that are in water actually do look at that on a regular basis. But there's going to be a state whole view that has to be the context of how we're going to solve equal and fair distribution of waters throughout the state. And it's one of the things that I also think it comes from the aquavision stuff. So, you know.
Peter?
Go ahead, Dirk, McCullough.
So what I see is, especially because of climate change, we don't have enough water within California, especially Southern California. So the challenge for us moving forward will be, how can we come up with a least expensive water supply? As part of the strategic plan, what are the different things that we could do to locally produce, which we are already looking at, like desalination projects, brackish groundwater. In addition to that, most of the other water conservation and recycling we're all doing. Is there anything else that we could do locally? At the state level, there are only limited options. Metropolitan level, we're looking at pure water project. We are looking at the storage reservoirs. Anything you look at, you're talking about billions and billions that are construction. How can we optimize? How can we come up with a solution that makes sense for everybody and also least expensive option? That to me is the challenge.
And kind of bouncing off that a little bit, that I see from the state view side, an ever escalating standard of mitigation and proof for state projects. So that'll never change. But that's something that will affect the DCP or anything else that comes forward.
Yeah. That's very true, Director Quady. You know, it goes back to we are reliant on these bigger projects. There's things like sites, there's Delta conveyance, there's a ever long list of restrictions and roadblocks that make those projects more difficult
Right.
every day.
Yes.
And you know, from a state level in Aquavision, there's got to be a way where we all work together to get those things across. But in the meantime, you know, we gotta figure out how to move things along here locally to make sure we keep progressing.
Well, and everything is always getting more expensive,
Yeah.
just like the DCP is finding. You know, with the increasing cost of the project every day, anything that we do
Time is money, right?
now is better than anything that we do in the future that's coming on.
But honestly, when I look at the Calleguas level, we are doing pretty good in the sense we are looking at all the options available to us. I don't know what else we could do within Calleguas service area or locally. We are doing pretty good. And the reason I brought up other projects is that's where the challenges are.
Yeah.
Southern California wide. If they're in trouble, they won't get water as much as we need.
Absolutely. And that reinforces, going back to my last point.
Yeah.
What we can do with things like that is continue, you know, supporting Charlotte and the state and federal advocacy to help push those things along. Keep participating in Aqua, right? We're doing those things, and hopefully we can have an effect on the future of California water.
What future role do venture capitalists have? And what kind of ways they might advance some of the water treatment solutions, or whether or not you have, you know, Ocean Well being a big success, not. And I also see changes in advancing fundamental unit processes for water treatment. If those are going to expand and change. This Lake Bard water filtration plant ready? No. Will there be upgrades in the future?
That's a great one, Dirk McQuay, that I hadn't thought of is Ocean Well, right? You know, partnering with LB and Metropolitan and being an advocate and helping support those projects that they're outside the box, right? You know, what else can we come up with, like Ocean Desal, or there's all this talk of micro nuclear power plants, you know, and things like that. What else can we do to things along? So.
I was just gonna say, it's an interesting thought that the cost of getting water from Northern California to Southern California may be redirected, that investment towards just local water sources in Southern California. We've got 2 lakes along the way that we gotta keep full, but
From my perspective, as long as I've been watching it, and I've been watching it when I first paid attention to Met while I was at Las Virgenes, but you know, it just seems to me that these let's see now. There's seems to be no very fast progress in what's going on, so. It's a long view. I did forget what I was gonna say, so.
sorry, you had a few good points.
Anything else on this topic from the board?
Just to say one thing, we've been going through this camp for water process, looking at all these different projects and which one or 2 or 3 might be viable. When the board asked staff, what's one thing you say that we really need? The first word out of staff's mouth was storage. Because when we went to the drought, they did look at the reoperations of just existing facilities. And they said we can get by 4 to 5 years without even making any new capital improvements. So, you know, thinking about how we've been able to reoperate the system, and while we're still looking at all these new capital improvement projects, there's a lot of possibility.
Yeah, I think we can get through 3 to 5 years, depending on how aggressively we ration. And the droughts last between 5 to 7 years.
Well, staff said we definitely can get by 4, and I think we can get by 5. That came out of Shane Chapman, so it was like, really? So we're getting better. That's the reason storage is important, because that'll get us that, maybe the extra 2 years.
And it makes sense because the volatility of the atmospheric precipitation situation it does come eventually, just all at once.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, you know, things like Vero or the recent AB 1755 are important. I see a whole background which AI can help with as well as a centralization or even some kind of deliverable data reduction. All the data that we have out there, we're surely supplying a lot of reports. And somebody, you know, I just kind of here we're generating all these things, and who's reading it? Who's actually reducing that data?
Right.
And I'm optimistic in a way that somebody will realize, and that's why I think this initiative for streamlined water data reporting is kind of a step in the right direction.
You know, going off of those topics, one of the most important things I believe in our region and our district is gonna have coming into the future isn't only these new sources of local supply, desalters, but it's possibly gonna be groundwater studies to figure out what these basins can hold, because we don't have anywhere to build the storage, but maybe we can do studies and figure out how much more we can store in basins. That'd likely be our future storage.
And I do appreciate the fact that the Delta conveyance is an element in the portfolio for the state. So that's not just a end all save all kind of thing now. It used to be, I think.
Well, in Insights Reservoir, I mean, you know, storage is a big one.
Progress. But if AI can look at all, I think PPIC was working on that, was it trying to figure out where all the different endpoints were for water distribution. And then how can you actually account for all that? The accounting part of the problem and the accounting of the problem. So, you know, do that yet, but there are people thinking about that.
All right, let's keep this moving.
All great conversations. Thank you. Before I pass it to Ian for the last slide, just thank you for engaging in the activity and for your thoughts and the background and the work that went into this first assignment, and grateful for all of your conversations. I think, like I said, this is really helpful as we move through this process, and just seeing the engagement and the back and forth that I just witnessed. I mean, I'm very grateful to see how much thought is being put into obviously the future. And we'll be reviewing all of these Post-it notes and documents. So if you feel like you missed putting one on a Post-it note, please know that we will be reviewing the documents in detail. This was just a way of getting everyone's ideas flowing and exchanging. But yeah, I don't know, Ian, if you want to cover anything on the next slide.
There's one very important key topic that should be on the strategic plan that we all missed, and I just thought of, and that's infrastructure security, right? That should never be a topic that's out of our mind, so.
Yeah.
That should,
Mine says infrastructure integrity.
What was there?
emergency preparedness.
Great, thank you.
Great, so on the 19th, so 2 weeks from tonight, we will continue this activity, this conversation. You were looking, today, the idea was really looking at drivers of change that influence the district, the sense of the board to get to where we are today. And what we'll talk about in 2 weeks is over the planning horizon that the board chose to be 10 years between today and 2036. Which of these change drivers, we talked about a few, picked a few and brought them into the future, but what other drivers of change you anticipate being really impactful between today and 2036, so over the next decade? And then at the meeting on the 19th, we will talk about how those change drivers are going to impact the district.
You know, I'd like to give the staff homework. I'd love to get the staff's opinion on the strategic plan and what the staff sees as important to our future, because you're all here every day. And what every single one of you thinks is important to the board. And I'd love to see you guys fill out one of these, and that way we can see what you all have to say, compare what we have to what you all came up with.
Sure. We did as we reported out in the MSR and talked a little bit, I think, in a couple of the meetings, is the management team went through its own kind of future planning scenario earlier in the year. We did a handful of sessions in our standing Monday meeting, and then we had a management team retreat. And we've got a write-up from that so that we can circulate. Christina and I'll talk about whether that needs another round of review. But yeah, we can circulate what the output from that management team future planning retreat was.
That'd be great.
Great idea.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. All right, up next. We have a general council report.
No.
All right, committee meeting reports. Have we had any committee?
We have not.
We have not. Director's list of admin code reimbursable meetings. Let's kick it off with Director McClellan.
On July 16th, Awa's Waterwise Program at Calleguas. July 21st, Awa's Water Issues Committee. On the 28th, MWD's Executive Committee via Zoom. On the 29th, the West Ventura County Business Alliance elected officials mixer at Heritage Square, and that was a really nice event. And August 5th, tonight's board meeting.
Okay, thank you, Director McMillan. Director Roberts.
Sure. On the 20th, Miami City Council meeting, 21st, Oxnard City Council meeting. On the 23rd, the Water Farm 1 JPA meeting with Los Virgenes. Very interesting meeting, a lot of good ideas. The direction it's going is very collaborative, organized, and systematic. It's still pretty new. There's a lot of development. They're talking very foundationally, bylaws, rules of engagement, that kind of thing. I brought up having chair member alternates so that more people can be involved. They seem surprised by the notion, but enthusiastic about it. Overall, I think it was very productive.
How many board members are there?
I don't think they're board members.
Well, yeah, so the JPA is still in the formation stages, and I want to keep the JPA and the Ocean Well discussion separate because the JPA is not an Ocean Well JPA, it's a collaborative JPA. At this point, West Basin, Las Virgenes, and Calleguas have approved joining and executed the agreement. There's a number of other agencies, I want to say 6, that are still working their way through their process. Some of those are a little more time, lead time and process. So I think once we have critical mass, we'll kind of do the official forming. And the idea was to include alternates as part of the bylaws.
There's an interesting specification. They're not board members, they're partners, but also it's not a board yet. It hasn't been formed, and so, you know, there's certain things like they don't do minutes at the moment and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a working group, and there's also the discussion of, you know, who gets involved now and then who gets involved after the creation of the JPA. So it's very interesting to, at least from my perspective, to see something from creation and yeah, and development. And I actually had a lot more recommendations than I thought I would bring to the table. So I was happy to participate there. Yeah, so that was a good one. I went down a rabbit hole there. On the 28th, Metropolitan's Engineering and Operations, and 30th, Oxnard City Council meeting. All right, and tonight's board meeting.
Director Pella.
Did you say engineering operations? You had a meeting?
It was a working.
Yeah, it was a,
Yeah.
Bad. I thought ours meeting. Okay.
No.
I didn't miss one.
Okay, I didn't miss one. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. So since the last Calleguas board meeting on 15th of July, I have attended July 16th, AWA Waterwise at Calleguas. July 21st, AWA Water Issues Meeting held remotely. July 22nd, GMA board meeting in Ventura. GMA and Las Rosas Valley Water Master budgets for 26-27 were approved at this board meeting. July 23rd, Calleguas Purveyors meeting. July 28th, Metropolitan Water District Executive Committee and Board of Directors workshops for Pure Water Southern California. July 29th, AWA long name, 4th Annual Barbecue and Award Ceremony at the Camarillo Groves Park. And I was really pleasantly surprised to see more than 150, almost 150 participants. Most of them were operators. I recall in the past, it used to be just the managers and superintendents of water, but now a lot more staff who work here. They were all there. And myself, our general manager, we were there. Wes, who's the chair, he's still here. Yeah, there he is. He did an excellent job with all the awards. There's a lot of discussion out there. We're talking to other people. Good job. On July 31st, Southern California Water Coalition meeting at Cal State Northridge. 3 private sector panelists discussed AI data centers and water. Our general manager, several staff members, and I were in attendance at this quarterly meeting. August 4th, I attended County Board of Supervisors meeting in Ventura. Usually I don't attend this, but this particular one I went because there was an update on all of the county waterworks operations and challenges for water and sewer districts. So I was there. Last 2 days, Calleguas board meeting.
All right, thank you. Director Quady.
Okay, since 15th, I zoomed the AWA Waterwise Delta Conveyance panel. And on the 28th, I attended the Aqua Water Quality Committee meeting. And on the 30th and 31st, Aqua Board meeting. And August 3rd, Aqua Energy Committee. And today, Aqua Region 8 meeting and tonight's board meeting.
All right, thank you, Director Quady. For myself, since the last board meeting on the 16th, we had the teams meeting with Camarillo. On the 22nd, I attended the Simi Valley Chamber Legislative Affairs Committee. On the 23rd, the purveyor meeting. On the 24th, I completed SB 827 required mandatory fiscal and financial training. On the 30th and 31st, we had the Aqua board meeting and tonight's board meeting. Right, thank you, everyone. Okay, up next, we have a discussion regarding upcoming meetings to be attended by the board.
Can highlight a couple things. Since the list went out in the board packet, we have found a date for the retreat, which will be Monday, September, I believe it's 28th at 2 p.m. Location TBD. It will, goal is for it to not to be here, but it has to be within the service area. So Kara's looking at some options there. The other thing I would note on the upcoming meetings is we do have a Colorado River tour, October 1st through 3rd, which will be Director Pacala's first as our Met rep. We would like to have one other board member attend, and then we would also recommend having another board member on the wait list, just in case.
What's the date?
I haven't been on one since I was first elected about 5 years ago, and you all have been on one since, so I would like to.
Not all. But I'll be behind you on the next one.
October 1st through 3rd.
Yeah, October 1st to 3rd.
If there's no objection, I'd like to be backup. Just because I've also never been, and I hear raves of the tour after everyone returns.
Yeah, first and second.
All right, Kara will get the registration link and then out to both of you. One of the reasons we want to have someone on the wait list is we can have you on the wait list. And then if a slot comes open, we can get you on it. If we don't get you on the wait list, then we can't refill the slot. So we're trying to be prepared for any contingency.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have a request for future agenda items? All right, board member comments?
Did you cover upcoming meetings for board members?
Yeah, we just did that one. Did you have one you wanted to add?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay.
On August 13th, I'll be attending Metropolitan Water District North Caucus Zoom meeting. August 13th, 26th, Water District 1 Advisory Committee in Moore Park. August 17th, Metropolitan Committee meetings. On August 18th, Metropolitan Committee and Board meeting.
Thank you, Director Pacala. Up next, do we have requests for future agenda items? Board member comments?
I have a couple of comments.
Okay.
Feasibility of capital construction charge has been on your list, Christine.
Yes.
Since April 14th. So my question to you is, when can we hear something about it?
As soon as we have a meeting that's short enough to accommodate it.
Okay.
Frankly, the next opportunity would be the first board meeting in September, but I know you're not going to be here. So
Okay.
the next agenda is too heavy. I mean, we're going to be well over 3 hours tonight.
The other question I have is Ashley Desai of Larry Walker.
Next meeting.
Okay, because she came and she had to other priorities, so she didn't show up. So
Well, she had originally been scheduled for, I think, tonight, or maybe it was the last board meeting. She informed us in advance she had a conflict and we were working on rescheduling her, and that will be the 19th.
Okay, 19th.
Yes, which is one of the reasons we don't have room to do the capital construction charge next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I know it says board comments, but can we insert staff comments?
It's not in the agenda.
Will our council? Yes.
All right, Wes had some good news to share with the board.
So just to give you guys a quick update, as of yesterday, we did get an email back from Cal OES, and we have been selected for the federal fiscal year 2024 state and local cybersecurity grant for local and tribal programs for a proposal that we had pushed through. We have been approved for the maximum amount of funding from the state, which is $250,000 for some cybersecurity upgrades that we will be doing with our remote locations. So
Congratulations.
Wes is 100% success rate on his grant applications.
One for one.
One for one.
I mean, that's great news, and I just want to say how much I appreciate your work. This was Wes's first time really getting under the hood of a grant program, and it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And obviously did a fantastic job, so work.
Who's the holder of the challenge coins? I think he's earned one.
It's a separate application process.
Yes.
Very daunting.
Well, then I would like to submit an application. It was a coin. If you guys could please fill it out for me. Ian will do it.
First and second. Saad will do it.
All right. And up next, we have informational items.
Yeah, I just want to mention, item 12A, Henry included a summary of all consent action and other board items for the Metropolitan Board meeting on
July 14th, 26th.
I don't know whether you had a chance to look at it. And also, this is for External Affairs, item 12C.
A letter is being sent to governor and the ranking members of Assembly and the Senate for $25 million
Proposition 4 grant for Supplewater feeder pump station construction. There are the informational items.
Good stuff.
That's not full 25 million. It's a piece of that, isn't it?
It's 25 million.
25 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we will see what transpires.
All right, thank you, everyone. With that, I am closing the session and opening closed session. Okay, I am closing the closed session, opening the open session. We had a brief update on anticipated litigation and